Hey everyone, I hope you're all well. It's Monday, never miss a Monday. First of all, big happy birthday to Amanda Dodwell. And then this is going to be a long one, I think, today, so apologies in advance. I was quite overwhelmed last night by the response to yesterday's vlog, which I felt was just kind of a bit of rambling. I had an intention of coming on the vlog and talking about my food plan while I have a tummy tuck, and actually ended up talking about my response to photographs that I'd taken in the morning. And a lot of you expressed emotion off the back of that, and I couldn't understand why, and I actually watched it back, and I very rarely watch back one of my own vlogs, but I watched it back last night and something hit me, like, straight between the eyes, and I realised what it is I'm actually anxious about, because the last couple of days I've been in this fog of feeling like my tummy's churning with worry and anxiety around the steps that I'm taking, and I couldn't really understand why, because up until that point I'd been hugely excited about it. And it isn't a fear of dying or, a fear of something going wrong. It isn't about that. There was something and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And I was trying to articulate it yesterday, but not really getting to the crux. And then watching my vlog back last night, it's hit me. And it's funny because a lady from the page who writes to me quite often on Twitter as well, sent me a message today, and she literally articulated what it was that I thought about last night, and I said to her I'm going to talk about it on the vlog today. So I think where I'm at is this final step in my journey is a big one, because this tummy of mine, and the loose skin that hangs from it, is kind of the final piece of the big girl who's been on this journey to lean. And because it's been a consistent, slow, steady journey, I've kind of adapted to it, and my mind has been, worked on over that period of time. And I've adjusted and adjusted and adjusted to the external view of the new me. And I said yesterday that, looking in the mirror, sometimes all I can see is the tummy, which reminds me of being the big girl. But there are other days where I look in the mirror and see the size 10 girl and go, wow, look what I've achieved. So actually, the bit that I am struggling to come to terms with is letting go of the big girl that sits in here. And what I realised last night, watching myself back, is that actually this next step, this immediate step where you go from literally overnight being like this to completely on the flat side with a flat tummy and no trace of, the overhang, no trace of being a big girl, and really the rest of my body there isn't much trace of being a big girl. Suddenly I go from the security of being a big girl, which, when you've got the fat on you and you're day after day inflicting being overweight on yourself, which is essentially what I was doing, that is a huge security blanket. That is something that says to the world, I don't really care about me, and therefore you don't need to care about me. And now I don't have that to hide behind anymore, and this bit is the last bit of it. So I'm going to wake up on Wednesday evening with my new flat tummy, and that security blanket's going to have been taken away. And the bit that I'm nervous about, the bit that I'm left with, is a responsibility to never go back to that big girl. And I think at the moment that's the bit that's scaring me the most, because I've been her for over 30 years. You know, I've been doing the binge eating, the secret eating, the not being in control, the, you know, constantly eating to block out the other things that went on in my life. And today I could go back to that if I wish. It'd be a struggle because I've come a long, long way and I've worked hard on my mindset, and it would be a real shame. But after tomorrow, that feels like the no going back point, because I'm investing money that I could be using for my family. You know, it's being cut away, so I can't literally start eating tomorrow because it's not necessarily physically possible to do that. You know, the skin's gonna be an absolute nightmare if I do that. So it absolutely feels tomorrow, like Wednesday even, is the be all and end all point. And accepting that responsibility that I can never go back is liberating at one level, but it's scary at another. Because I'm going to be a lean girl. And Angela Cox still doesn't really know how to be a lean girl. You know, I'm kind of playing with it at the moment and trying to get used to it. And it wrecks my head sometimes that that's what I am. But that's what I'll definitely be by the end of this week. So that's where I am, I guess, with my mind at the minute, and I'm trying to work that through and be brave and accept that responsibility and know that actually, and it sounds a bit corny, but I do feel like I'm going to be almost like reborn into this person that I've always wanted to be. And at one level I can't wait for it, but at another level it's terrifying. So again, I've got to 7 minutes and haven't spoken about what I'm going to be eating or how I'm going to be training. I might do a separate vlog after this one to cover those two things off, just in case you don't want to listen to all of this blurb. But I hope that makes sense. I'm kind of trying to make sense of it myself. But that's where I am. Thank you for listening. I will do another vlog, I promise, with what I'll eat, and I'll speak to you all tomorrow.